iPhone 15 Pro. 2 weeks later, $1,100. Do I have any buyer's remorse? That's what we talk about in this video. Let's get it. What up, y'all? Tight Shirt here, Wolf, and I'm back for another video. Hope you're having a fantastic day so far. Remember to be thankful for your life today because you did not have to have it, okay? Let's get on with the meat and potatoes. I don't even really review phones, but I thought about it, and the iPhone is the tool that, honestly, I use the most. The first thing I want to say is I skipped over the iPhone 14, okay? I came from the iPhone 13 Pro straight to the iPhone 15 Pro, which means I missed out on a year of changes, upgrades, if you will, right? So I didn't get the Experience Dynamic Island, I didn't get the always on display, I didn't get the camera upgrade, so on and so forth. So, you know, I had pretty good motivation to go ahead and upgrade, mainly because I wanted the camera improvements, I wanted USB-C, plus I wanted all the other stuff that I missed out on last year. So the first thing that I want to talk about is which color I went with. I went the natural titanium, which I'm kind of upset that I didn't exchange it when I had the chance. And I'm not saying that this color is bad. There's nothing wrong with it. It's just neutral, and I like the stealth look of, like, you know, black or charcoal colored phones. So I don't know, maybe I'll look into switching it out some type of way. I know I'm past my return policy, I think, but yeah, I mean, it's good. If you don't know what it looks like, but you have an Apple Watch Ultra, if you put them side by side, they look almost exactly the same when it comes to color. I do like how it's much lighter, or even if it's not much lighter, it feels much lighter than iPhone 13 Pro, and I do like the chamfered edges, so, you know, it's easier to hold. It just seems like a much more comfortable phone to hold. Now, I usually rock the speaking case on top of it. I'll leave a link in the description, and this is a solid case, a really solid case. But again, I just wish I had the darker one to complement the smoked case, and of course you can get a clear one and all that stuff. But so far, it's been a really enjoyable experience when it comes to build and stuff like that. However, I want to address you people that are bending your phones and throwing them off balconies and all that stuff. I don't do none of that stuff, okay? So when it comes to the changes that they made and it being titanium and it could be, you know, more bendable or more fragile, I'm not doing stuff for my phone that will compromise the structural integrity of it besides me dropping it, okay? Which I try not to drop it. So I don't really care that last year was stronger than this year. Whatever, don't upgrade if you don't want to. That's the bottom line of it. Now, the next thing that I want to say real quick, if you don't have royalty-free music and you know, need to copyright protect all of your social platforms, but you still want dope music, visual assets, overlays, even editing software, make sure you hit up Artlist. I have a link in the description where you get 2 months for free. Let's move on to overheating, okay? Because there's been such a huge deal over overheating. And I'll be honest, the iPhone 15 Pro does get quite a bit warm, okay? For sure warmer than my iPhone 13 Pro, but to be honest with you, it doesn't bother me. I don't expect this freaking supercomputer in my pocket to not generate any heat. Now, I know some people before the latest firmware patch were having overheating problems where the phone was actually preventing them from doing stuff under normal circumstances, and in that, I agree with that. It shouldn't be doing that, okay? But I don't mind if my freaking phone gets warm. It doesn't hinder my experience. It certainly doesn't burn my hand, and I like to use the analogy, I don't get mad at my truck when the engine gets warm while I'm using it. It's a freaking computer that uses electricity to do things. There's a byproduct, and that's called heat, okay? As long as it's not freaking exploding in my pocket or too hot to touch, I don't really mind. With that being said, I have obviously greasy hands, so I'm gonna wipe the screen back off, but so far I haven't encountered any overheating problems on my iPhone 15 Pro. I'm not saying that you guys or girls may not have had any trouble. I'm just saying I haven't had any trouble thus far. Now, iOS 17 really makes all of Apple's iPhones feel fresh. I'm not gonna go into like all of the nuanced details about iOS 17 upgrades. You can watch the 40,000 freaking videos on it on the internet. Have I had any bugs so far running the iPhone 15 Pro with iOS 17? I think the only bug that I get on a consistent basis has to deal with freaking AirDrop. For some reason, and I don't know if it's just me, I don't think it's just me, because Chris Brockhurst commented on Twitter, and there were a bunch of people underneath him on the Twitter post saying that, hey, my AirDrop is insanely slow with the iPhone 15 Pro. That has been the case for me, and sometimes it just doesn't work and I have to reset the phone. I'm not gonna knock the iPhone 15 Pro because that sounds like an iOS bug, but it is something that is a minor freaking annoyance that I don't like to deal with. So there's that. Now let's talk about this action button, okay? If I hold mine down,
Stop it.
Okay, we can't let that play for too long because I'll get copyright claimed. But okay, stop it before we get a copyright freaking claim, okay? But anyways, the action button is dope. And obviously mine is programmed to something stupid. When I walk in a room, I just want that song to play. I'm kind of immature in that way. But I have seen some very, very useful applications of the action button, including programming a string of shortcuts in a row to make the phone like open garage doors while doing this and that. It's actually pretty dope. Do I miss the switch though? I actually prefer the switch over the action button. I wish there was a way we can assign a short press and a long press. Hopefully that'll come in the software update, but I can see how that could also become annoying if I have it programmed to silent. Anytime that the freaking button gets pushed, it goes to silent mode, and if I don't want that. But you know, I do appreciate the action button and what it's able to do. So there's that. The other thing that I really want to talk about is USB-C. Honestly, USB-C is the biggest reason that I think people should upgrade to the iPhone 15 Pro. Now, I made a whole video on this. I'll put that up there in the corner. There's a lot of stuff that you could do with USB-C on the iPhone 15 Pro. USB-C, with this being a decent camera in your pocket, unlocks, especially when I'm using USB-C for everything else and I'm using my MacBook and I need to get footage off of here and AirDrop is not working, or if I just want the fastest transfer possible, being able to use the cords that I already freaking have on my MacBook, or chargers that I have everywhere, or just cables for anything, now I can use it on my iPhone 15 Pro. And true enough, we should have always been able to do that, okay? Apple made this seem like it was some revolutionary feature. No, we know that Android phones have had the ability to connect cameras directly and all of that stuff to the iPhone 15 Pro. I don't care, okay? I'm just glad that we have it now because that changes the user experience totally. I also wish that they would have went with a Thunderbolt 3 or Thunderbolt 4 instead of whatever version of USB-C that they have. So what's going to happen next year is they're going to be like, oh, the next iPhone 16 Pro has Thunderbolt 4, revolutionary new technology. And I'm going to be like, no, you should have just gave us that last freaking year. But neither here nor there, I'm glad that we have a USB-C on the iPhone. The speakers are great on here. I want to talk about cameras for a second. Now, I need to define who I am when it comes to using the camera on my phone, okay? I'm blessed. Obviously, I have a camera and photography channel. I have cameras everywhere, okay? So my use case is a little bit different than probably somebody else's who primarily uses their iPhone for content creation, or their iPhone is their B camera or their C camera. Well, I'm very intentional when I want image quality, okay? And I know if I'm about to pull my phone out, or pull my device out, I should say, and flip over to ProRes so that I can shoot and log, and I have intentions to color grade it even if I'm not using ProRes, but I know I'm gonna color grade it afterwards. I prefer the benefits of a bigger sensor camera because of that. And again, our use case might be different because our needs might be different, right? So what I look for in an iPhone or any device that I'm carrying for my pocket shooter is just that the image quality is good enough, okay? The front camera quality is decent. I really wish we could get center stage on iPhones, but whatever. The rear cameras are where the big improvements are. Now, I'm not happy, okay, that the iPhone 15 Pro Max has the 5x freaking telephoto camera, but the iPhone 15 Pro doesn't. It's not like it's not capable. It's not like we're limited by size, I don't think, because they're roughly the same thickness. They have the same size camera modules. That to me is just straight cheese that Apple, put intentional segmentation in there to get more money out of us, because they could have easily put it, in my opinion, in the iPhone 15 Pro. With that being said, the camera upgrades that we do have, the cameras in the iPhone 15 Pro, given the size of the sensors, and I think that's freaking important, okay? Some people are, critiquing the iPhone cameras, expecting it to perform like one of these. Obviously, it's not. But for you to be able to pull out this level of quality out of your pocket, and I also put up another video kind of showing some samples side by side with the iPhone 15 Pro and the ZV-E1, which is up here, which is a professional quality camera when it comes to image quality. Some of the shots are very, very difficult to distinguish on a phone, right? Obviously, when you put on a much bigger display, some of the artifacts show a little bit more, but what I'm saying is it's a very, very capable camera in your pocket. The image quality is amazing. ProRes log is also amazing. There's a ton of color grading flexibility. You probably want to download Blackmagic Camera app, which I also have a video for that up there. I'm probably out of cards by now. I'll just put together a whole freaking playlist. How about that? But The Blackmagic camera app unlocks this iPhone 15 Pro as long as you have a 256 gigabyte model where you can shoot ProRes up to 4K 60 internally to the phone, no extra devices required or anything like that. But the quality out of it, for it to be a pocket shooter, is really, really good, okay? I know it's not like true because it's aided by computational videography and all that math and stuff like that, but most people don't care as long as the result is good. And my opinion is that if I ever need it, I'm glad that I have it in my pocket, but would I actually really use ProRes on the iPhone? I probably wouldn't, because there's the whole like diminishing returns thing, right? If I'm gonna go through all that work, I don't know if that's the right example, I'm gonna just leave it in here anyways. If I'm gonna go through all that work, I would much rather get out my camera where the result will be way better. Now, you'll argue that, hey, it's not about the quality on the phone, it's not missing a moment. I agree, it's in your pocket. There's benefits and advantages to having a camera in your pocket versus carrying around one of these freaking things. But what I'm saying is the camera quality an iPhone 15 Pro is good enough to where if I go out and I'm not specifically going to shoot something, I don't mind only carrying the iPhone 15 Pro in my pocket, which I haven't been able to say that about any other phone, which is for me incredible. The stabilization is incredible. If you turn on, what is it, active mode or whatever it's called, it's mind-blowing to watch how good the stabilization that gets applied to it is, and the multiple lenses and all of that stuff. It's really good, okay? What I'm saying is the camera experience for me on the iPhone 15 Pro is what I was looking for from a phone. I don't think we can expect a whole lot more until the sensor sizes start getting bigger. With that being said, let's go ahead and wrap this up. For 1,100 bucks, I'm not mad at the iPhone 15 Pro. I think there's some very necessary updates. Technically, I don't think we should have to pay for them, but neither here nor there. They're here, right? And if you have an iPhone 13 Pro, or even if you have an iPhone 14 Pro and you have the additional money or you can get a dope trade-in, I would say it's worth upgrading to the iPhone 15 Pro. So to answer the question before I finish, okay, I don't have any buyer's remorse about it because this is a tool I'm gonna use every single freaking day for the next year until the new one comes out, and I love having all of this available in my pocket. If you can upgrade it or swing it through your carrier, I think it's worth the upgrade. I mean, I wouldn't say feel upset if you can't, but if you can, I do think it's a worthy upgrade, and I think you should, because the iPhone 15 Pro might be, in my opinion, the best phone I've ever used. Not from a novelty perspective. I got Android phones and all that stuff that can obviously do cooler stuff. But from a workhorse, it just works refined. Like everything about this phone screams premium. The experience, the user interface, the software, the camera experience is fast. It's got great battery life. Oh, I forgot to mention that. The battery life is great. Charges real quick. Overall, I just think that this phone is really good. Okay, I don't script videos, so I probably missed some stuff. This is all off the top of the head, so excuse me if I messed up, but I'm curious to know what y'all think down in the comment section. I'll be down there kicking it with y'all. I'm out of here, tight shirt, Terry Warfield. Piece of chicken grease. Much love, y'all. Peace.
I think I'm playing chess, I see a king, I'm at his neck. I'm 3 steps ahead of every move, now that's a check. Yes, they wanna know my secret, it's because I never slept. All my nightmares of me at 40, life's a wreck. See my dad, he in debt, and my mom, she upset. That's way back when 4